Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating questions in NBA history. What if Steph Curry's story had played out differently? Steph Curry didn't just become the greatest shooter of all time. He rewrote how basketball is played. Teams went from building around dominant big men to chasing spacing and shooting. But Curry's path to greatness wasn't guaranteed. A handful of close calls could have ended his story before it ever began. And the entire NBA might look completely different today. So let's explore 10 alternate realities, 10 what-ifs, that could have changed Steph Curry's legacy forever. In the early 2010s, Curry was as fragile as glass. His ankles gave out over and over again, multiple surgeries, endless missed games, and a reputation that scared the Warriors' front office. By 2012, people were questioning if Golden State should even keep him long-term. The Warriors ended up signing him to a 4-year, $44 million deal, which looked like a huge gamble at the time. It turned into one of the biggest bargains in sports history because Curry finally got healthy and exploded into an MVP. But what if he never shook those injuries off? Think about it. The Warriors never become a dynasty. No Splash Brothers. No strength in numbers. No 73-9 season. Steph becomes another what-could-have-been story, like Brandon Roy or Penny Hardaway. And the league, it probably stays dominated by LeBron James and traditional big men for most of the decade. The three-point revolution might have taken another 5-10 years to happen, or maybe it never happens the same way at all. Draft night 2009. Minnesota had back-to-back picks at number 5 and 6, sitting right there for the taking, Stephen Curry. Instead, they picked Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn. And with the very next pick, Golden State snagged Curry, forever changing NBA history. But what if the Wolves got it right? Imagine Curry and Kevin Love together in Minnesota. Love was putting up 26 and 15 a night, paired with Curry shooting. That's a potential playoff team in the West. The Wolves finally escape irrelevance, and maybe they never need Karl Anthony Towns years later. But here's the twist. Would Curry's greatness have still blossomed in Minnesota? Golden State's patience, their player development, and later Steve Kerr's system were perfect for unlocking his game. In Minnesota, with unstable coaching and no real culture, maybe Curry never reaches MVP level. We could have seen a version of Steph that was just a really good point guard, not the guy who broke basketball. Before Steve Kerr, the Warriors had Mark Jackson. He was tough, defensive-minded, and he helped build confidence in Curry and Clay. But Jackson also limited their offensive creativity. Golden State ranked near the bottom in ball movement. Enter Steve Kerr in 2014. He completely flipped the script. Pace, spacing, constant movement, threes from anywhere. Curry suddenly had the ultimate green light, and it unlocked back-to-back MVPs, including the first unanimous MVP in league history. But what if Kerr never showed up? What if Golden State stuck with Mark Jackson or hired someone else? Curry might still be a star, but he wouldn't have been unleashed to the same extent. No 2015 championship run, no 73-9 season, and no Splash Brothers legacy as we know it. Kerr wasn't just a coach, he was the architect of modern basketball. Without him, Curry's career is still great, but maybe not legendary. In 2012, Golden State was at a crossroads. They had Monta Ellis, their leading scorer and fan favorite, and Steph Curry, who was talented but injury-prone. Most people inside the league thought Monta was the safer bet, but the Warriors shocked everyone. They traded Ellis for Andrew Bogut, doubling down on Curry as the future. Fans booed the decision. They thought the team had given up on their star scorer for an unproven fragile shooter. If Golden State never made that trade, Curry might have stayed stuck in Monta's shadow. He wouldn't have had the freedom to grow into the leader of the franchise. The Splash Brothers never formed, and instead of a dynasty, Golden State might have stayed in the lottery, endlessly rebuilding. One bold front office decision literally saved Curry's career and set the stage for everything that followed. Steph Curry didn't just shoot threes. He changed how we think about them. Pull-ups from 30 feet, quick-release bombs in transition, shots that used to be considered terrible suddenly became the best shot in basketball. But what if Curry never pushed the boundaries? Maybe he stays a traditional point guard, using the three as a weapon, but not a revolution. The league wouldn't be filled with shooters taking 43s a night. Big men like Dwight Howard and traditional post players might still be dominating the game. And think about today's stars. Trae Young, Damian Lillard, Luka Doncic. They all owe part of their style to Curry showing it was possible. Without him, maybe the NBA never shifts into the pace and space era we live in now. In 2015, the Warriors beat LeBron's Cavs in the finals. Curry was incredible, averaging 26 points and carrying Golden State's offense. But the finals MVP went to Andre Iguodala for his defense on LeBron. That decision fueled the narrative. Curry wasn't clutch. He couldn't win the biggest award on the biggest stage. Critics piled on for years, saying he wasn't a real finals performer. But what if Curry had won that finals MVP? His legacy shifts instantly. Instead of people questioning his playoff greatness, he's seen as a complete superstar from day one. That one trophy might have silenced doubters earlier and changed how people rank him in all-time debates. The Warriors dynasty still happens, but Curry's reputation is bulletproof much sooner. 2016 was supposed to be the perfect season. The Warriors went 73-9, the best record in NBA history. Curry was the unanimous MVP, dropping 30 points a night while pulling up from anywhere on the floor. Golden State breezed through the playoffs and took a 3-1 lead in the finals against LeBron's Cavs. Then everything collapsed. Draymond Green's suspension, Curry's struggles, LeBron's iconic block, Kyrie's dagger 3. The Cavs came back and won in 7. The greatest regular season ever ended with heartbreak. But what if Golden State had closed the deal? 73-9 plus a championship would have made them untouchable. Curry becomes the finals MVP. The dynasty looks invincible. And LeBron's legacy takes a massive hit. Instead of the 2016 comeback being the highlight of his career, people might remember LeBron as the guy who couldn't stop Golden State. The Warriors would have had a claim as the greatest team of all time. Full stop. And maybe, just maybe, Kevin Durant never joins them the next season, because they wouldn't have needed him. After the 2016 finals collapse, the Warriors shocked the world by signing Kevin Durant in free agency. It created a super team that steamrolled the league, winning back-to-back championships and making Curry and KD nearly unstoppable. But what if Durant never joined? Maybe he re-signs in OKC, or goes to Boston or even Washington. Without KD, Golden State is still elite, but far more vulnerable. Maybe they win another title, maybe not. But the Cavs, Rockets, and even Spurs would have had a real shot to take them down. For Curry, the narrative changes too. Instead of critics saying he needed Durant to win finals MVP, Curry would have had the chance to keep proving himself as the unquestioned leader. His legacy might actually be bigger today without KD, because every championship would have been his. On the flip side, the Warriors might not have become the most dominant dynasty of the modern era. Back to draft night. The New York Knicks desperately wanted Steph Curry. Madison Square Garden was ready to welcome him. Fans were chanting his name, but the Warriors took him one pick earlier, and the Knicks ended up with Jordan Hill. What if Curry had landed in New York? Instantly, the Garden would have had its biggest star since Patrick Ewing. The Knicks might have built their entire identity around Curry's shooting and flair. But here's the catch. The Knicks have a history of mismanagement, bad trades, and failed free agency moves. Would they have built the right team around him? Or would Steph's prime years have been wasted on a franchise that couldn't get out of its own way? Imagine Curry lighting up MSG every night. He'd be a legend in New York sports history. But without Golden State's structure, his career might not have reached the same historic heights. The Knicks might have had one shining moment. But would the dynasty and revolution still have happened? Probably not. Steph Curry is a generational talent, but every great player needs the right partners. Curry had Klay Thompson, the perfect co-star, another elite shooter who could guard the toughest perimeter players. He had Draymond Green, a defensive genius and emotional leader who made Golden State's small ball system unstoppable. But what if those two never came along? Imagine if the Warriors never drafted Klay, or if Draymond ended up somewhere else. Curry would still put up numbers, but without that perfect supporting cast, would he win championships? Or would he be remembered as a flashy scorer who couldn't carry a team deep in the playoffs? Basketball is about fit, and the fit between Curry, Klay, and Draymond was once in a lifetime. Without it, Steph's legacy isn't the same. He's still an all-time shooter, but not the leader of a dynasty that changed the game forever. So there you have it, 10 what-if scenarios that could have completely changed Steph Curry's career and the history of the NBA. From injuries to draft night decisions to coaching hires, every step of the way was filled with turning points. Steph Curry didn't just become great by accident. He had the right talent, the right teammates, and just enough luck to stay healthy and build something special. But what do you think? Which of these scenarios would have had the biggest impact on the NBA? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and I'll see you in the next video.